Hi everyone, here we are once again with a new video for the channel. And today we will continue with the videos about creating questions. In this video we are going to learn how to create information questions using WH question words. But first, let's define what an information question is. This is a type of question that asks for information by using a WH word at the beginning. For example, where does he live? Notice that we placed the question word where at the beginning of the question. In English, there are 9 question words that we can use to form information questions. These question words are when, where, why, how, who, whom, whose, what, and which. Now we will learn how to use them one by one. Before we move to the explanation of each question word, let's see the structure that we follow to create questions using these words. The word order or the structure that information questions follow is the question word, the auxiliary, the subject, and the main verb. It is the same structure that yes/no questions follow, but in this case we include the WH word at the beginning. Check these examples. In the affirmative form, we have the sentence, she lives in Spain. If we want to create a yes/no question, we can ask, does she live in Spain? But check this. When we want to ask for information, we add a question word. Where does she live? She lives in Spain. That is the information that we are asking for. Remember that if the verb is in the simple present, we use the auxiliary does with he, she, and it. And we use the auxiliary do with I, you, we, and they. In case the verb is in the simple past, we use the auxiliary did with all the subjects. Notice that the main verb is in its base form. In the case of verbs that requires an auxiliary, the same auxiliary is used in the questions, and there is no change in the form of the verb. Check these examples. He is living in Japan. If we make a yes/no question, we can say, is he living in Japan? And if we want to ask for the information, we add the WH word at the beginning of the question, like this. Where is he living? In Japan. He is living in Japan. That is the information that we want to know. In the case of verbs that take more than one auxiliary, only the first auxiliary precedes the subject, like this. He will be living in Mexico by next summer. Will he be living in Mexico by next summer? Now let's see an example using a WH word to ask for information. Where will he be living next summer? There we are asking for more information. That is the information that we want to know. There is a special case when the question word is the subject of the sentence. Those questions are called subject questions. When the question word is the subject of the sentence, do not use do, does, or did, and don't make any change to the verbs except when we are using the verb be. Check this example. In the affirmative form, we have the sentence, Mary came from France. And in the interrogative subject question we have who came from France. In this case we are asking for the subject. That's why it is called subject question, because the WH word takes the place of the subject in the question. To form an information question using the verb be in the simple present, we use am, is, and are, and we use was and were with the past. Remember that verb be precedes the subject when be is the main verb of the sentence. Check these examples. In the affirmative form, we have the sentence, they are in Australia. And if we want to make a yes/no question, we can ask, are they in Australia? And if we want to ask for information, we can use the WH word where. Where are they? They are in Australia. That is the information that we want to know. Let's start with the question word when. When is used to ask questions about time. For example, when did they arrive? They arrived yesterday. When will he come? He will come next Monday. As we can see, we use this question word just to ask for time. Now let's move to the question word where. In this case, where is used to ask questions about place. For example, where is he? He is at home. Another example, where can I get the tickets for the show? You can get them at the box office. Now let's continue with the question word why. Why is used to ask questions about reason. For example, why did he stay at home? Because he was sick. Why aren't you coming with us? Because I'm tired. Now let's continue with the question word how. How has many uses, but it is generally used to ask about manner. In other words, the way something is done by someone or something. Check these examples. How did you come to school? I came by bus. How does he drive? He drives carefully. The question word how has many idiomatic uses. I will show them, but I am not going to do a deep explanation of them. How much and how many are used to ask about quantity. For example, how much money does it cost? It costs $10. How many people came to the meeting? Around 15 or 16. How is also used with adverbs and adjectives. Check these examples. How old are you? I am 12 years old. How soon can you get there? In 10 minutes. How long is used to ask about length of time. For example, how long have you been in this city? I have been in this city for 2 years. How often is used to ask about frequency. For example, how often do you call your parents? I call my parents every weekend. How far is used to ask about distance. For example, how far is it to Canada from here? 5,000 miles. Now let's move to the question word who. Who usually takes the place of the subject in a question, but we only use who to refer to people. For example, who can answer this question? I can. Who came to visit you? My friends Eric and Janet. Something that we have to remember is that who is usually followed by a singular verb, even if the speaker is asking about more than one person. Check these examples. Who is coming to have dinner with us tonight? Victor, Rose, and Marcos are coming. Who wants to go to the supermarket with me? We want to go. Now let's continue with the question word whom. Whom is generally used as the object of a verb or a preposition. Whom is rarely used. Instead, we use who. Whom is only used in formal questions. And don't forget that only whom is used after a preposition. Check these examples. Whom did you see at the park? I saw your sister. This is an example of a formal question. Whom are you visiting? I'm visiting my parents. To whom should I talk? To the secretary. This is an example of a formal question. Now let's move to the question word whose. Whose is only used to ask for possession. Check these examples. Whose book did you borrow? I borrowed Carla's book. Whose key is this? It's mine. Now let's see the question word what. What can take many roles in a question. We will see each of them. What can be used as the subject in a question? In this case, what refers to things and not to people. Remember that to refer to people, we use who. Check these examples. What made you happy? The gift that I received. In this example, we are asking for something. And what is the subject of the question? Check this other example. What went wrong in your final presentation? Everything went wrong. In this case, what is also the subject of the question. What can be also used as an object. Check these examples. What do you need? I need a pencil and a notebook. What did Angela buy? She bought a new car. What sometimes also accompanies a noun. For example, what classes are you taking this semester? I'm taking grammar and English composition. As we can see, what is together with the noun classes. What classes are you taking this semester? What time did she finally arrive? At 10 p.m. What countries did you visit during your last vacations? I visited Cuba and Jamaica. What movies do you like the most? I like comedies and horror movies. Finally, we have the question word which. Which is used instead of what when we refer to a definite quantity or a group that we already know. Check these examples. In the affirmative form, we have the sentence, I have 2 pens. If we want to make a question, we can say, which pen do you want? And the answer for this question can be, I need the blue one. Another example, which book should I buy? This one or that one? You should buy that one. Something else that we should know is that when the verb be is the main verb in the simple present or the simple past, this one is placed before the subject in the questions. Check the structure that we have to follow. First, we have the question word. Then we add the verb be, and then we add the subject. Always remember to do the correct subject-verb agreement with the verb be. Check these examples. They are my friends. Who are they? Check this other example. Mary was at the library. Where was Mary? I will show you some more examples. The girls were at the park. Where were the girls? At the park. Her dress is blue. What color is her dress? So, this was all for today's video. Don't forget that you will have a practice down in the description of this video. Thanks for watching, and if you find our content useful, subscribe to this channel. See you next time.